So I had a great education going on. I was making a decent living again. I was doing something I really enjoyed. I was good at it. And I was around people who could whisper the right things into my ear and were willing to do so. So I kept doing this, and another technology I was integrating was something called neuro-linguistic programming, which I know many people in this room have a sense of. And neuro-linguistic programming was this wonderful technology for me of communication skills at the time. That's what I thought of it. I never wanted to be a therapist. I never learned neuro-linguistic programming for those reasons. I thought it was a brilliant communication technology. And when I was studying it and learning it, I was absorbing mostly the communication aspect of it because that's where my attention was. And I learned, and I began saying somewhere in that time where I was training these auto dealerships, where you put your attention is where you'll get your results. If you get that idea, you'll understand that you want to first and foremost begin to focus your attention where you want to produce your results. And for me, with regard to NLP, my attention was on the communication mastery that was available within it. And quickly I began to develop the results that I wanted using those communication tools. And I had the opportunity to be studying with a man at the time named Roy Frazier, who was my primary and most significant teacher in this domain. And he was developing material which was outstanding, which took me heads and shoulders above what I'd learned from anyone else up until that point. And it was based upon the simplest of premises. You begin from what works. Now, the complexity of how you do that and what you can do with it, that's enormous. And that took years of dedication and learning on my part, and years of dedication and willingness on his part. But the basic idea is the simplest one you can imagine. Start with what works. See, I've been saying the gravitation has always been towards familiarity and comfort. And sometimes people hear it and they go, oh, okay, what he's telling me is I have to get away from what's familiar and comfortable. Not at all. You have to get that you'll go towards what's familiar and comfortable. But do it with intention. Inside of what's familiar and comfortable, there are some things that work for you. Put your attention on those things. Because there's also things, I'm sure, in what's familiar and comfortable to you that aren't working so well. Now, you don't have to take your attention off those things. If you put enough of your attention on things that are working, you won't have any left. So you don't have to worry about those things. It's a simple premise. And I began working these things together and weaving them into a kind of a tapestry of how could I work with clients to teach them how to be more effectual in their interactions with other people. And primarily this took the form of sales training, but it also began to open doors for me in the form of management development and executive development work. And I began to do some private coaching with people as well, helping them with life issues that were coming up, but in a very particular way, using this very particular technology that was emerging. And around 1995, two things happened almost simultaneously. And they were integrated in a way that I can see now from where I stand today, but I could not see from where I was then. And this is an interesting point because if I'd only done what I could understand, if I'd only acted upon what I could figure out was going to happen that hadn't happened yet, I would still be working through the things that I allowed to happen with the process of giving up the desire or need to understand them. I just let go. And therefore they came into being because I didn't need to understand them before I did them. I was willing to do them before I understood them and let the doing of them give me the understanding. This is heresy to some people. This is an absurd concept to most people, that you can do things that you don't understand. And yet it was the secret of the success I enjoy today to a great extent.